Brain facts. Most living creatures have a complicated organ called the brain. It serves as the primary operator for all of your actions. Hello everyone. Welcome to Z. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. There are many billions of cells in the human brain. A human brain has about 100 billion neurons, which serve as the brain's primary functional unit. Additionally, glial cells are present to assist and defend the neurons by ensuring they have a steady supply of nutrients and oxygen. You are alive because of your brainstem. Your breathing, heart rate, and other vital bodily processes that keep you alive and healthy are controlled and directed by the brainstem, also known as the brainstem. There is no such thing as 10% of the brain. One common misconception regarding the human brain is that only 10% of its capabilities are actually utilized. In the movies Limitless from 2011 and Lucy from 2014, it gained popularity. In reality, when awake, humans use their entire brain, while sleeping, only 10% of it. The left versus right brain debate is merely a notion. According to a study from Harvard Medical School, there is insufficient evidence to support the famous left brain versus right brain dispute. Both hemispheres of the brain are used by an individual, with only minor differences depending on the job at hand. Migraines may result from brain freeze. Sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia, often known as brain freeze, happens when you consume cold food or liquids. In the event of a brain freeze, the freezing temperature causes the blood vessels at the back of the throat that are related to the brain to tighten, resulting in a sharp pain in the forehead. Some instances of brain freeze can make someone experience a migraine because it is seen as a common headache. It is possible to smell words and hear colors. Synesthetes are individuals who experience the phenomenon of hearing colors, smelling words, or visualizing ideas in the environment around them. As a result of the intersection of sensory and cognitive pathways, the uncommon syndrome results. Alcoholism that lasts a long time can harm the brain. It's acceptable to occasionally drink alcohol with your pals as long as it doesn't result in abuse. Alcoholism that lasts a long time impairs cognitive abilities and causes a variety of memory problems. Less likelihood of developing a wet brain is ensured by moderate alcohol use. A form of brain damage known as wet brain, also known as Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, WKS, is connected to a vitamin B1 deficiency. A wet brain can cause memory loss, slurred speech, and hallucinations if it is not treated. People who are diagnosed with this illness frequently have a history of heavy drinking. Your appearance can suffer from lack of sleep. In order to prevent their patients from experiencing the negative effects of sleep deprivation, doctors typically advise them to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Lack of rest and sleep can hinder the body's and brain's capacity to recover from many illnesses. In addition to creating dark circles under your eyes, lack of sleep and rest can also cause your skin to age prematurely. The gradual loss of cognitive abilities does not begin in your 20s. The idea that the human brain begins to lose part of its memory and cognitive skills as a person reaches their 20s has lately been refuted by scientists. Throughout an individual's whole life, the brain is always developing and changing. As a result, there is no set time when the brain begins to have stronger or weaker cognitive skills. Teenage brains can reveal early indicators of mental illness. Teenagers frequently experience a variety of mental health issues at this time because of the ongoing changes in the brain that occurred during adolescence as a result of their emotional and social development. Children as young as 10 years old might develop common mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, and eating disorders. The brains of teenagers are more stressed than the brains of adults. Teenagers are more sensitive to stress than most adults because puberty leads the brain to develop at different speeds. They strive to find a way to escape the strain of their peers, their families, and their schoolwork. Teenagers as young as May 13th experience stress-related mental problems like sadness and anxiety as a result. Negative effects on the brain are brought on by persistent anxiety and panic. Chronic anxiety and panic attacks cause the brain to frequently release stress chemicals. As a result, patients with anxiety disorders frequently have severe headaches, vertigo, and eventually depression. Brain disease is less likely if you eat like a Greek. Greeks who live traditionally eat the kind of diet you need to maintain your brain in peak condition. Their food contains less sugar, salt, and fat. As a result, it lowers their chance of developing type 2 diabetes. Your brain's blood cells are directly harmed by this type of diabetes, which increases your risk of developing a brain disease later on. Clearer thinking is aided by deep breathing. Deep breathing helps to cleanse the brain and prevents overthinking because the brain consumes 20% of the body's blood and oxygen. The brain is fed by exercise. Most athletes do exceptionally well, which demonstrates how exercise supports and improves brain function. An active lifestyle increases cerebral stimulation, which enhances the cardiovascular system of the body. Pain can be fabricated by the brain. When a body's brain and central nervous system continue to experience pain from an amputated limb, it is known as phantom limb pain syndrome. Even after fully recovering, people who sustain serious injuries may experience phantom pain. In the process of mummification, the brain is taken out of the corpse's nose. Ancient Egyptians practiced mummification as a component of their culture to aid the transition of a departed loved one to the afterlife. The method includes removing the brain's remains through the corpse's nose as one of the steps. The cognitive abilities of the brain are enhanced by video game play. Players ecstatic. Playing video games can help your brain function more cognitively. The brain is constantly stimulated by the beloved activity. While having fun, you can use this to hone your coordination, problem-solving abilities, and memory. Human and dolphin brains both share similar developmental stages. Similar to how human brains develop, dolphin brains also grow. High cortical activities like intellect, attention, and memory take up a sizable amount of the brains of both species. These aquatic mammals are extremely social, just like humans, and they make lasting connections. Short-term memory can last as quick as 20 to 30 seconds. The brain can only store a minimal amount of information when the mind is active. As a result, a minor diversion during a chat with a friend can easily cause you to forget the subject at hand. Any age can be used to learn new skills because to brain plasticity. Know of your age, your brain has the capacity to support adaptation and mastery of new abilities. Through growth and remodeling, neuroplasticity enables neuronal networks in the brain to adapt to various surroundings. It is preferable to read aloud rather than silently. According to recent studies, children initially learn to utter words before they can read independently. Compared to reading silently, reading aloud improves memory function in the brain. Love is uplifting for the brain. Although it may sound corny, multiple brain scans reveal that people who are content in their relationships release a lot of dopamine, a neurotransmitter that fosters feelings of pleasure. Brain activity is unique to each person. Brain activity patterns are as unique as fingerprints. students from Yale University used functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, to study a variety of volunteers and came to the conclusion that each person's brain activity differs from the next. Over time, human brains have become smaller. Researchers in paleoanthropology have discovered that modern humans have relatively smaller brains than our ancestors did. Humans have grown smaller over time, and as a result, the size of human brains has also shrunk. You can use your thoughts to power a tiny light bulb. Your brain's neurons can generate enough electricity while you're moving around to run a modest light bulb. It's similar to experiencing a real light bulb moment. Brain waves can sync up for musicians. A group of 2 or more musicians can sync their brain waves while performing, in addition to their sound. Scientists made this discovery after observing the brain activity of guitarists as they performed a single musical pattern. Someone with a psychopath brain may be heartless. A comparison of the brains of offenders with and without a psychopathy diagnosis was done by researchers from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. According to the findings, criminal psychopaths have a weaker connection to the areas of the brain that control empathy, guilt, fear, and anxiety. The capacity of the human brain is infinite. Although it may seem improbable, numerous studies indicate that the brain is capable of holding an infinite quantity of information. The brain's potential to learn new things grows as neurons connect throughout time. Unfortunately, people with Alzheimer's disease experience the reverse since their brain's neurons suffer harm and eventually stop functioning. That's for now. We appreciate you being here. View more our channel videos.